Hello everyone, my name is David. Thank you for joining me for Monday's Q&A videos. I want to welcome new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Channel's growing great. This is a question and answer video where I'm answering subscribers' questions that they asked me from the last Q&A last Monday. If anybody wants to ask me a question at all, go down below in the comment section, ask me anything you want, and I will answer them in the next question and answer video next Monday. I want to thank Stefan and Gina very much for donating to the channel. I really appreciate both of you. Really helps me keep going, and it's just a beautiful gesture to give your hard-earned money. Thank you both very much. Something I like to do every once in a while is bring up something that's called Shane's Law Petition. For those of you who don't know what that is or have not supported that, please consider supporting this petition. I will put a link down below in the description box where you can follow it and just sign it. Shane was a victim of nasty narcissistic smear campaign that went on for a very long time. It infiltrated his entire life and he didn't know where to go for help. There was no help at the time. And Shane sadly took his own life. And somebody started a petition in his name, and it's to stop this public smearing and targeting. So if you could please find the time to follow that link down below to Shane's Law Petition, check it, that you support it, to just get us all in society in the right direction, okay? And even if this isn't your country, the United States, maybe allow us to set the mold, to begin stuff like this. There's other things like this going on in other countries, but it'd be really great if you guys could support it. Thank you. What else? I like to make a suggestion every week. It could be a person, maybe an author, another life coach or therapist, or another YouTube channel, or things that you can take. And that's what I like to recommend this week. Sleep is vitally important if you're recovering from abuse, trauma, okay? Typically, this long abuse that we endured or trauma that might have carried on for quite a while, maybe even years in our life, causes damage to our brain. And one of the only times that we can actually repair that naturally is by sleeping. And a lot of you know who are suffering from post-trauma, post-stress, and how stressful this is right now, what you're going through. We tend to be very hypervigilant. We've got adrenaline mixed in with cortisol, and it doesn't allow us to sleep very well. We wake up like we're looking for a train to run us over, or wide awake. We wake up every hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, don't get enough sleep, stressed, and things like anxiety and depression. It is vital that you get enough sleep the night before for the rest of the day so you can feel good and make good decisions in your life. So I want to recommend something. The brand is the Genius brand, and it's called Genius Sleep Aid, and it's on Amazon, as always, and I found it under 20 bucks. And this is something that somebody I know recommended it, who has recommended a few things for the Q&As. Thank you, Joni. And anybody else that has or thinks they have some good recommendation or something I haven't recommended before, feel free to tell me about it. Like I said, it's people, that are authors, YouTube channels, counselors, has some type of, maybe you can offer some type of other supplemental therapy or healthy things you can take. So anyways, getting into this. This is, I believe, all natural. What does it have? Inositol, theanine, and glycine, which are basically vitamins and amino acids and stuff like this that are really good for sleep. So Genius Sleep Aid, if you guys are interested and need some help sleeping, I would recommend taking this. I found it under $20, and I will put the link down below for that on Amazon. And so I think that's it. All I ask you guys, well, here, let me go through the whole thing. Ask me anything you want. I don't mind if it's personal or not. And if it is, I'll tell you. If I miss your question, I didn't do it on purpose. I missed it. It happens sometimes. Or if I don't understand your question, I answer it wrong, or you don't understand my answer, anything like this, please keep asking me. Don't worry about repetitive questions. People need to hear stuff a lot of times over and over again, and I don't want people to be left out. I want to be able to answer people's questions. So anything happens, just ask me again, okay? So let's get started by Fit Mama in California. Hi. You help me stay away from the narcissist chaos. Today I'm doing awesome. That's great. Good to hear. Thanks for the update. My question is, once recovered from narcissist abuse, is it beneficial to continue to watch videos on narcissists? I'm happily single and taking me time. Just want to continue my journey narcissist free. Thank you. You're welcome. So people ask me this a lot, you know, and should I keep watching videos? Should I keep watching videos on narcissists, stuff like this? And I mean, that's a personal question. You know, the best thing I can say is, what are you watching? Let's keep optimistic. Let's keep positive, okay? And try to stay away from the narcissist is the bad guy. And I know that they did bad things and all that. I'm just saying, try not, is what a lot of these narcissist videos might do to people who've come out of the abuse from them, is really point the finger and monster size them and stuff like this. There's things that are good because we need to recognize we've been abused by them. Some people don't. I'm just saying, just be careful where you get your information, whose videos you're watching. Typically, people that make narcissist abuse videos in this YouTube community have experienced themselves. They've experienced the abuse themselves. They are saying they are victims of this. So just be aware that victims of narcissistic abuse aren't extremely aware of what's going on. They aren't extremely healthy, right? I wasn't when I was doing that. So to get from that point to recommending things and giving advice and externalizing your opinion to other people who are going through it and telling what they should do and think and stuff like this, there's got to be some growth, inner growth and stuff. Like just experiencing narcissistic abuse, I don't think qualifies you as an expert. And I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying a lot of people think they're experts just because they were abused, and there's a whole lot to learn. And if you've been abused by narcissists, there's things that you may not be aware of, probably not. We need to know these things and learn these things and be aware of these things instead of just identifying a narcissist. Identifying narcissists aren't enough for narcissistic recovery for victims. It's not enough. We can't go through life just thinking that all we need to do is go like this and be like, there's one, stuff like this. It's about you. Trust me, there's reasons that some people don't experience this. They don't need to. Victims, most of us needed to. There's things we needed to learn. So we need to learn these things. And I recommend learning as much as you possibly can about this huge experience, right? Wasn't this one of the biggest experiences in your life? Then the worst thing you could do to yourself is not learn much from it. That's the worst thing you could do from such a big experience. Such a big experience should be such a big learning experience. And it's not learning that you're a bad person, that you just got stooped, that you're stupid, or that that there's just a bunch of really bad people in the world that we need to watch out for. Because I'm telling you guys, it's not easy to detect them all the time. And we don't need to all the time. We aren't trying to get married, have children with them all the time. We have to work with them. We have to deal with people that have personality disorders. Very commonplace workplace. What are you going to do? Every job you have, there's one, get another job. There's one, get another job, because that's what you'd be doing. I hope I proved my point. What are you watching, How does it make you feel when you're watching them? We need optimism. We need positive things in our life. We need beauty, pretty. We don't need ugly, bad guy. Real common thing I say is people that have just come out of this experience monster size their victim. If you have people that are showing you videos and they're telling you what a monster these people are, then that shows you where they are in their own recovery. So just be aware of how much advice you're taking from them. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And thank you. So, like anything I say almost all the time is, how does it make you feel? If it feels gross, feels ugly, feels negative, you don't need to watch it. I mean, how much do you need to know about narcissists? Because I've been learning about narcissists for years, and there's still so much to learn. Do you need to devote your time to that? Is that necessary for you? because you're going to learn a whole lot more about this experience and even about them when you learn as much as you can about yourself. Thanks. Next question. Kingdom Woman After God's Heart Ministries. David, it is said that a narcissism has no cure. What is your take on this, please? Lots of common questions like this. So first, narcissism isn't a disease, so there is no cure because it's not a disease. We don't cure personality disorders. They need to be treated. And there is treatment available. And I'm going to say for all 10 personality disorders, there is some kind of treatment available. Meaning, just about everybody can better themselves somehow. Can a sociopath not be a sociopath anymore? Ever in life? I don't think so. I think according to the DSM, no, I think. But they can better themselves, can't they? Why not? If they truly, truly want to, it's the most important thing in their lives, and they see how important it is, and they need to, and they try, and they have some success. And I'm definitely not one to say no. So, and I won't. I don't like killing hope for anybody. That's not fair. I think people are capable of a lot. I also don't want to give false hope to victims that believe that their abuser, who is a sociopath or narcissist or a borderline, that there is a cure, or that there's treatment, and that if they just seek it, they're going to be fine, and you can have relationships with them. I'm just, I just try to be really careful, and I think anybody can better themselves. And I think a narcissist can better themselves and maybe still have narcissistic personality disorder. I don't know. Maybe bettering themselves a little bit will mean that they don't qualify for the diagnosis anymore. First thing, well, I should have said, I'm not a therapist. So I'm not even really qualified to answer that much more than that. But I definitely want to say that there's hope for anybody to be a better person. But another common thing that victims do is we want our abusers to get help. And if they don't have a problem, like they will tell you, they don't have a problem, what would they go get help for? It's us that want them to change for us. We want them to change for us. We want them to be more like we want our mate to be. And my recommendation is go find someone like that. Go find somebody who will take the time to understand you, respect you, love you, appreciate you, have, and things like romance and stuff like that's important to them. Things like stability and security is important to them. Then it won't be such an issue, right? So these are things to think about in the beginning of relationships, right? Thank you. Bjorn from Finland. Hello, Bjorn. Why does the BPD, NPD's new replacement sometimes last much longer in a relationship compared to us? Well, compared to us, that leaves it wide open because the next person in the relationship is also us. And the person before you is us. We've all been victims, we all are victims, and then there's future victims coming up, right? So some relationships just last longer. It's just perspective, Bjorn, right? Maybe this person's been in a relationship with somebody else longer than you. When relationships don't serve narcissists anymore, they typically leave. Okay, so what typically happens is the victim is responsive and gives them more attention, emotional attention, and meets their needs, makes them feel good, security, stuff like this, whatever they're using that person for. It's continuing, and that's what continues the relationship. And they also put up with abuse, right? That person might go cheat and they stay in the relationship. That person might hit them and they stay in. So it's up to the victim, a lot of it is. Because whatever that narcissist, whatever made that narcissist decide to stay with you for a period of time is something they're getting from you. And they will keep receiving that from you as long as you want to give it. They realize that they can't always have multiple relationships and still get that from you, so they might refrain from that, or they might keep it a secret until it's a big enough problem that you're making such a big deal out of it. Now you don't make me feel good anymore. Get rid of you. That's what's important to them. So relationships will last all kinds of different periods of time for all kinds of different reasons, right? You've got there's a personality disorder, dependent personality disorder, and that's what they're looking for. Long-term, baby, long-term abuse. What do I need to keep this going? You know, abuse wears you down. Being around toxic people takes your energy. Being abused by them just kills you. Literally, it's like cancer. It's killing you. You don't have energy. So you don't become such a great source of supply anymore after some time. You become depressed. You become anxious. You have reclused, isolated, introverted. You gave up and compromised and sacrificed things that were important to you, that made you happy, things that gave you hope in life. You stopped doing these things in the relationship. You're not as fun anymore. I mean, real simple. A narcissist comes, say you guys live together, they come home, they're in a great mood, you have to be too. If you're depressed, even if it's because they beat you, even if because they just cheated on you, they don't understand, they don't care, they don't have empathy, you need to be in a great mood. If you're not, it's your fault. You're bringing the narcissist down, right? That's it. It's all them. So enough abuse, you're not very great anymore. You're no longer giving them the attention you used to. The quality went down. Hope that makes sense. David from Ontario, Canada. Hello, David. My question comes from Ontario, Canada, as another David who got out of the narc horror, and my dilemma has to be me. I know I deal with lots more than a narc, but 20 years of that plus 35 dealing with tough medical, my question comes now. I meet people but have problems going past the stranger hello there. Part of my recovery is taking in a new service dog who is a magnet for attention. Now my deal breaker has to be open, truthfully communication. Without, I shut down or simple off. Is this common when diagnosed with narcissistic victim syndrome? My medical involves huge, severe, chronic pain, which you won't understand, but it does wear one down. Add the narc damage, and yes, there is frustration, but I have learned to handle my pain. But the narc damage, can this be adding to my insecurity I have today? Yes, that's the most common reaction, biological reaction to abuse, trauma, over time, long time especially. Jeez. So much it does. So much it does. It robs us of good vitamins and minerals every day. Stress does that, right? This daily stress robs us of vitamins and minerals. Very simple things like that. First sign of emotional neglect and abuse at home for children and for adults: headaches, stomach aches, right? Your biography becomes your biology. Childhood emotional neglect results in social problems. There is lost conversation between child and parents. That's just typical if the child is neglected. There's less conversation. There's less talking about feelings. There's less talking about fears. There's less teaching and less learning. Less socializing. This can cause social ineptness, to be socially inept, where you just can't communicate. This causes cognitive problems, where all your perception, where all your everything comes into play that gives you all your information about people, reading affect. This causes social problems. And very common when people have emotional problems, they withdraw from family and loved ones. Very common. This causes a lot of guilt and shame. This makes you not want to be around people. You're a bad person. Lots and lots and lots of different reasons I can give you. I believe most, and I wrote this, I believe most introverts spent a fair amount of their childhood in some sort of neglect. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me more. Thanks. Ashley. Or you know what? I'm going to stop here, Ashley, for part 1, and I'll finish part 2 in soon. It'll come up soon. You guys will see it. Thank you, everybody. If you could support what I'm doing, all I'm asking is to make this video more active. It makes it a little bigger, and hoping that just that one more person will see information, see this stuff, and can at least direct them into the right direction of help. Okay? So if you could, by voting up or down, commenting, sharing, posting, suggesting, stuff like this helps. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in part 2. Bye.